In this video, let's remember a legend of Chiefs Kingdom on the anniversary of his passing. Look at the most updated injury report, which includes Kadarius Toney and his ankle, JuJu Smith-Schuster and his knee, as well as Mahomes and his ankle. And then let's talk about a sickness that sadly seems to be spreading around the team. But first, how about those? All right, today is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but I still wanted to get one out for you guys because it's Super Bowl week, aka grind time. And regardless of how tired I am, the fact that it's Super Bowl week has my mood fixed in one current state, and that mind state can be summarized by this photo of Kadarius Toney. You gotta love it. All right, but before we get into the fun and the exciting times of the Super Bowl and all that good stuff, I first want to mention that 23 years ago to the day, February 8th, 2000 was the day that Chiefs legend Derrick Thomas passed away. He wrecked his Suburban on I-435 in a snowstorm on the way to MCI to watch the NFC Championship game on January 23rd, 2000, and unfortunately wasn't wearing his seatbelt, getting ejected from the car, and was paralyzed from the chest down. Then a couple weeks later, 16 days later, I think exactly, at the hospital, he went into cardiac arrest and died as a result of a pulmonary embolism, a very tragic end to one of the greatest Chiefs players of all time, certainly, and I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention this on the anniversary of his passing 23 years later, so rest in peace to the legend himself, Derrick Thomas. All right, now Super Bowl week is here, and with that comes media, dumb question, and Chiefs players were available for the media today for these dumb questions, per Matt McMullen, who literally said each player on the roster was available to be interviewed by the hundreds of media members there. Okay, I'm introverted, and that is stressful just reading that sentence. Hundreds of media members. All right, well, that is a lot going on all at once, and I definitely imagine that some of these players just sat there with little to no media around them for the majority of the time. Meanwhile, a handful of them were probably completely surrounded, which could make things a bit awkward just to be sitting there alone. Something else that could have been a bit awkward is the fact that media members probably mispronounced Marquez Valdes-Scantling's name wrong. I mean, at least a couple of them had to have. I'm sure he let them know that they did indeed mispronounce his name, and on top of that, may not even have answered their questions because last week on Twitter, he said, "Mispronounced my name, not answering your question." Well, I have a feeling it happened again because MVS took to Twitter earlier today saying, you'd think as a media journalist pronouncing the person's name right would be top priority. You know, the interviewee is doing you a favor. The least you can do is pronounce the name right. So please, for the love of God, media members, do your job and get his name right, or
know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
And speaking of jabronis, the commissioner himself, Roger Goodell, spoke today at a news conference, and when asked about his thoughts on this year's officiating, he said this.
I think for us, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league.
Did you hear what that man just spewed out of his nasty little mouth? He said, I think for us, when you look at the officiating, I don't think it's ever been better. Huh? Somebody please drug test this man right away, or screw the drug test altogether and send him away with Aaron Rodgers on a hallucinating darkness retreat so he can come to his senses. Okay, maybe all that is not needed. He did compliment the officials as a whole, but he also said something to the effect of nobody's perfect and we always aim to get better and improve, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's real cool. Now, can you please act on those words you talked about, Roger, aiming to get better and take accountability? Because inconsistency across the league this season has been quite an issue and definitely needs fixed, just like Cheffers and that fake little smile of his. But I digress about those foul individuals, so let's move on to some other news because tomorrow night is the NFL Honors, which airs at 8 p.m. Central on NBC, hashtag not sponsored, but I may or may not, we'll see, be doing a live stream reaction of the event because Patrick Mahomes will more than likely be winning his second AP MVP, league MVP times 2. Please and thank you, so let's freaking go. And then let's get to these injury updates as I feel like we are now involved in another ankle gate with Kadarius Toney this time as we work to figure everything out. So while Kadarius Toney said yesterday that he definitely will be playing in the Super Bowl, the question still remains. How healthy will he actually be in that game? I want to know. The same for JuJu Smith-Schuster, Willie Gay Jr., and Patrick Mahomes as well. So let's take a look at this injury report and talk about it. First up, Kadarius Toney himself, he actually was the only player who was limited, a limited participant with the ankle/hamstring. And I did actually go to the Chiefs website to look at their practice photos and found this photo here of Kadarius Toney moving around with what appears to be very little support on either ankle. I mean, maybe he's got some pre-wrap type of taping underneath, but the fact that they aren't heavily wrapping the ankles appears to be a good sign for him in my non-professional, non-medical opinion, okay? But we shall see how the rest of the week looks for him. And then again, everybody else on this list fully participated. That's a good sign for Willie Gay Jr. with his shoulder, in my opinion, because we will need that man out there on the field, given he is one of the Chiefs' most athletic linebackers, and Jalen Hurts likes to run the ball a lot. And then Mahomes, ankle, more on him in a moment. McKinnon, ankles, plural. Pacheco, wrist. Trey Smith, ankle, a lot of ankles. And JuJu Smith-Schuster, knee, also all fully participated. And I will just say they did not practice in pads today. Practice included brief offensive, defensive, and special team sessions rotated in quick succession. So maybe that comes tomorrow. Either way, JuJu was out there with a compression sleeve on his leg and maybe some sort of an additional wrapping up of his knee under that sleeve. But honestly, I cannot tell from this photo, but I did think it was worth showing you all this, and the fact that JuJu was a full participant should be a great sign for Sunday, given he did not practice last week and was letting the swelling in his knee come down. So I just hope, pray, all that good stuff that JuJu's knee stays from swelling up again. And then Mahomes' ankle. He was fully wrapped up at practice today, both ankles like usual since injuring this thing. And prior to practice, here's what Coach Reid and Mahomes had to say about the ankle.
Yeah, so he's been doing really well with his ankle. We had a fast practice a couple days ago, and he moved well. He can really do just about everything, so at least everything in the game plan that we've asked him to do. I think he'll be fine today.
Yeah, I don't think you'll know exactly until you get to game day. I'm definitely in a better spot. I definitely can move around better than I was moving last week or 2 weeks ago. And so it's just trying to continue to get the treatment and the rehab and get to as close as I can to 100%, and then rely on some adrenaline to let me do a little bit extra when I'm on the field. So it's going to be definitely better, more mobile, be able to move around a little bit better for sure. And then we'll see on game day how close to 100% I can be.
It'll definitely be better and more mobile. And then he basically added that adrenaline will also help. Therefore, I think he's going to be good to freaking go on Sunday. Not 100%, of course, but better than the AFC Championship game for sure. And Harold Kuntz also reported that per the pool report, Andy Reid said, you saw Mahomes roll to the right, roll to the left, taking snaps from under center, all the things that are a little tougher, and I thought he did well. So good. And while we learned some good news around Mahomes' ankle, the progress made so far, and some of the other players on the injury list, I found out a couple of not so good things today, and that is this. First, on a lighter note, Andy Reid revealed that he does not drink coffee.
How do you take your coffee?
I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't drink it.
What do you drink in the morning then to start your day?
I just get up and go. I got endless energy for a chubby guy.
Andy is hilarious, man, but seriously, he's missing out on the coffee life on God. And speaking of God, somebody actually said that Andy Reid doesn't drink caffeine because of his religion. So while I would never personally give up caffeine ever, props and respect to him if he's doing that based on his personal convictions. Now on to the more serious note, okay? Coffee was cool, had to plug that. We talk about coffee all the time on this channel, but let's move on. Because I learned today that there's some sort of sickness spreading around the team, a cold, perhaps. Mahomes sounded a little under the weather the other day, and then both Frank Clark and Chris Jones today.
Excuse me. Give me a second. I got to go blow my nose. Sorry. I'm good. I'm a little sick. I got a sore throat. I got a runny nose, runny eyes. I don't know what happened. Yesterday, last night, I was amazing. I was on cloud nine. Today, I'm a little, but I'm okay. Appreciate you.
Frank, question for you. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
This is sharp.
Oh, man. You know, Miles, I think he ran for 1,200 yards this year, 10 touchdowns, something like that.
So, yeah, that's not good. It doesn't seem like it's anything major. However, this can definitely spread or be spreading around the team already rather quickly. Remember, they all flew on a plane together to Arizona, and they've all been in close contact all week for all the media stuff, all the team practices, etc., etc. And even if it's just a cold, it could still run down your overall stamina, your overall strength, and more. I mean, these guys are coughing, runny noses, watery eyes, and sneezing. And with everything on the line for the Super Bowl, we need as many of these players as possible at full strength Please and thank you, and that's where I want to pass the question off to you guys. What do you think about this little cold or whatever is going around? Is it of any concern to you, or is it more, nah, man, it's only Wednesday the 8th. They still have 4 days, and they should be good to go. My question is, who else is it going to be hitting before Sunday? I just hope that it's not very many people for obvious reasons. Chiefs need to get this dub. So definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?